We're up for some ZVT action here on Hardwire. Spawning in the top right hand corner. Playing for Shopify Rebellion. Is the red Zerg player, makes a noise for Scarlett. Your opponent in the blue instead, playing for KaiZ Gaming. And from China, it is time. Lovely to see these two players clash against each other. They developed quite some history actually. Been seeing a lot of their matches lately. And it always makes for some pretty interesting matches as well. And I'm positive we're gonna see an interesting match again here on Hardwire. It's one of those maps in which this particular matchup usually goes the distance. Due to how easy it is to defend on multiple bases. Them being very very close, being a lot of them. And lots of choke points in which you have to actually send your army in. It makes it very easy for other players to have a vision of this ramp, which is the only position that it's pretty tough to defend due to the side blockers. So making it hard for the Terran to walk up over here. Same can be said about sensor towers, of course. And in the end, transfer your army from the left side to the right side. Once you break down those rocks especially, it's going to be pretty easy. So, it's gonna sound weird, but you can consider Hardwire like a shrinked Jagannath, with pretty much a very similar layout, but being shrinked both vertically and horizontally, so that it has the same late game potential, while being much shorter and tinier overall. We're gonna see though, both these players can really play aggressively if they desire to. Especially Time is one of those players who once gets some aggression going, he barely stops. Scarlett much prefers to get the late game in this particular matchup, at least nowadays. We'll remember that one year in which Scarlett decided to cheese everyone. Quite successfully as well. Oh! Betrayal from the Queen actually attacking the Overlord. Scarlett with a little bit of an oopsie on her A move. Sending one Ling in to try and get some scouting going before the Reaper can kill all the Lings. It's a slow Ling as well, and speed for these lanes will not be finished for quite some time. At least he has some vision of this third base, I guess. It's not like Time has something over here back home. I still will be surprised if that one single Ling managed to get a scouting, but yeah. The aliens are gonna be sent through to pair with the Reaper and get some aggression going. Ooh, Cloak is going to be started. Yeah, no. Time, come on, man. Raise up that wall. Yeah. Yeah, that one slow Ling got perfect information for Scarlett, guys. Yeah, she knows it's Cloak. Because one slow Ling got in the wall of Time. Those kind of mistakes are just kind of hilarious. They don't really add up to too much overall, but it's cutting information that maybe will grant you a couple drones killed, but it's going to be completely denied right now. I seriously doubt Scarlett will not have Spore Callers up in time. 3 more Queens incoming. I probably will see, yeah, a lair, as I was about to say, being started immediately after that. And probably a couple Spore Callers will be spread around as well. As you can see, even though the first Banshee is out and Cloak is almost finished, Time will definitely not get much done. Maybe once there are 2 Banshees, almost got an Evo Chamber block over here. But that one drone will take one for the team. Once you have 2 Banshees, maybe you can start one-shotting drones, but honestly, with the amount of creep spread that Scarlett is able to accomplish so quickly, it's going to become harder and harder for time to find a way to keep on pressuring with those Banshees. Scarlett's still not on this ramp, but the Queens are gonna try to do their best to get some position over here. Not being on creep, they cannot transfuse anymore, so Scarlett will try to be a little bit more careful with them. The Banshees over here. Yeah, I do feel like these Banshees are soon going to be on creep teamer killing duty with scans, because I don't really see a way they can get damage over here. There's even over here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. And yeah, those Banshees just have to get the heck out of there. Probably a scan will be used, and it's down to kill creep teamers. This is a this is a pattern, I feel, with Banshees sometimes. If they don't manage to get anything done by the first time they get into the zero base, they're just gonna be used for creep teamers. Sometimes they're going to be kept alive for later usage, later on in the game, once things start to get a little bit more chaotic. But keeping them alive against the Spire play is going to be very, very tough for time. And the Spire is in a very awkward spot that is pretty much impossible to be scouted. Time will be reacting to this instead of preparing, which is not the biggest of deals. It's not like those Mutas immediately come online and they're immediately able to kill a lot of SUVs. They need a couple upgrades before they can dish out sensitive damage. And by that time comes, usually they have either Widowmines or Thors on the field, or even just Marines who are very well positioned. It means that Scarlett will probably get to a little bit of late game. This is an interesting push. It comes at a very delicate timing. A timing in which Scarlett will be defending mostly just with Queens. Bailing speed is not done yet. These Queens will need to buy some time. And of course the Mutas will not be done anywhere close in time to deal with this. This archery will be transfused, but is honestly still in quite some danger. There is just one tank and one Widowmine with this. The Banelings are ready to become fast Banelings. The Queens still on creep, still able to transfuse each other. And in the end, snipe down whatever is left of the sieged up position. Off time, very clean defense on the side of Scarlett. Losing 0 Queens. Losing mostly just a couple Banelings. And the Queens. Oh no, not again. These Queens have betrayed Scarlett again. But in the end, aside from the poor creep tumor, it's really not like Scarlett lost a lot in that exchange. She's gonna drop down the double Evo Chamber as well, getting that +1 flyer attack. And now catching those medivacs in the middle of nowhere. Honestly, very good catch. That is definitely what time needed to try and do something, and I don't see these, I do feel like one more medivac at the very least will be sniped. These Banshees are in a very awkward spot as well. In the end, the Banelings will not manage to get connection off creep. The Mutas can still not fight the Marines, but another medivac goes down. And honestly, it's starting to add up quite significantly for time. Scarlett economy has definitely boomed. She's getting very good upgrades, she's raising that tech, she's getting bases left and right, she's gaining a lot of map control, she's spreading her creep, and time is just left answering for what Scarlett is doing after losing so much of his own tempo. This actually is going to be cancelled, but so will these Banshees probably. Scarlett will be sending her Mutas to try and kill these Banshees. Gonna focus off of her Mutas on one, off of the other. Here comes the Banshee, making itself visible over here by attacking this one hatchery. And both of the Banshees will go down, as I was saying before. After creep tumor duty is over, there's not much you can do. You try to look for damage, you delay an archery, and then they just go down. The Spire play is almost impossible to answer with just the Banshees. They will die without doing too much. when he feels like he does slow down time by quite a bit. Sensor Tower falling over here, a couple Banelings suiciding for this, honestly. But in the end, yeah, this is important Vespene gas for time. He was actually trying to advance to a stronger army. Oh, another couple of Medivacs will be sniped. This is going to prove itself to be quite a problem later on, once time finds himself without a lot of energy on his few left Medivacs. The Winter Mines are spreading around, they will not get many shots. Ooh, close one. Oh yeah, one of them will definitely get a shot. But Scarlett is sniping Widow Mines left and right. I just want to go to units lost tab because this is absolutely crazy. The amount of tempo that Scarlett has gained in this game, losing honestly very minor key units. Losing 2 Mutas and a Spore Crawler. The 82 Lings and the 36 Banelings, they're pretty much always going to be lost. And just 2 drones that falling down at very distant timings as well. Scarlett being very consistent throughout this game, both air defense and offense. Infantry weapons and armor level 2 incoming. This Mutas trying to look to get some damage over here on this production. Honestly, this is not a very good trade for Scarlett, who is also going to be chased down by the Taurs. How many Mutas were lost in using? Oh wow, 8 Mutas. It's honestly quite a lot. Here on the right side, it doesn't really look as Scarlett was able to achieve much yet again. And their gas bank definitely was hurting after this. Of course, trading down supply for an Ultra Cover, an Adrenal Glands +2/+2, and a Flyer Attack 2 to come and maybe try to advance to a stronger army composition. There's always much needed Burrow incoming as well, probably to add some Infestors shenanigans to these army. Infestors flanks with the Fungals, so good lately. A very healthy evolution of this matchup after Infestors have been so oppressive for different reasons. I'm talking about you, Infested Terrans. But now after Vipers were pretty much the meta for so long, Zerg players have started to invest into Infestors quite a bit. We can see a big engagement over here. Honestly, Scarlett is just trading down supply. 74 more lanes incoming. It wasn't just the best possible engagement, but again, Scarlett is building up bank. She's taking a full control of her own side, and by being so much in the phase of time, she's able to spread creep and take control of multiple key locations, which is definitely gonna come in a favor later on. This base on the right side, honestly, I kind of doubt it's going to be saved. But Scarlett is taking full control on the left side and is sending units in to kill Sensor Tower and still be up on the trade overall as far as aggression goes. All this base, wow. That's not a lot of health. I do feel like Time is going to send someone in to finish the job. He needs to be careful though, he can be trapped. He's going to send only one Marauder, very good choice. I don't feel like this Marauder is not going to survive though, yeah. Farewell, brave boy. Scarlett getting so many key upgrades, breaking down rocks, as I was saying before, to enable air army's movement a little bit more. Oh, this Muta's flying a little bit. Oh no, that wasn't good at all. That was terrible, actually. Time pushing a little bit of a shock point over here in the middle. He's going to find himself greeted by a million Banelings, and there's never a good sight for the Terran player. Both players losing a little bit more than they were expecting out of these, honestly. But in the end, Scarlett will come out on top, and their banking gas is still standing. I don't know how, with so many upgrades incoming as well, 3 Ultras, and as I was saying, the Infestor tech, Pathogen Glands, to have those Infestors out with a little bit more energy from the get-go, and start being trouble right away. I do love myself some flanking Infestors. Those Fungals can achieve crazy things if they can get on as many ghosts as possible And time is definitely going ghost heavy with his composition. The Taurs are going to be probably sacked away once mutas are no longer a thing, in favor of more ghosts. Oh, these queens are actually trying to establish a little bit more of a forward position to be able to transfuse the ultras maybe in a head-on fight. More mutas are gonna be made in the end with +3 flyer attack. These mutas are definitely going to be a threat even in a head-on fight. And later on Corruptors and Broodlords can still make good use of this. I don't think we have a Great Aspire, no we don't. But still Scarlett is saving the need for a double Spire play. And keeping just the one, probably gonna have a Great Aspire once she decides to trade more of her own supply. She's taking a lot of bases, she has still such a nice bank. And he's sending units right in the middle. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. These Banelings hidden over here. I want to keep close attention of them. Overall, the engagement will be in favor of time, just lightly. But Scarlett even snapping down a couple. Oh my god. Snapping just a couple of those key units will still work in her favor, because, you know, 2k gas bank. That's a lot of Vespene Geyser to save up upon. And it feels like time is just spending so much of his own resources without getting much done. I don't think we've seen a lot of drones die ever. Now these ghosts are chopping down the snipes on top of the mutas. Of course, there's not much more going on. These Banelings, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. That feels like a wasted chance. It really does. That could have probably ended the game right there, right now. The mutas are in the main, dealing yet more damage. It's not like this main is super important. Vespene Geyser is going to be depleted over there. But it still takes time quite a while to get something done over there. And these bases over here, not a planetary fortress yet. It'll be completely defenseless. Over here, the Banelings managed to get a couple explosions on something, it feels. I don't know how much did they kill. Let me just take a look at how many ghosts have died. Maybe he got a huge ghost? No, not a huge ghost connection. But time is definitely looking to strike back over here on the left side. Well, on the bottom right side, Banelings, Banelings, Banelings. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the economy of time is right now in total shambles. Scarlett might have lost one of her bases, but she's taking another one over here, which is almost saturated. She still has 6k minerals and 2.5k gas in the bank. It just doesn't really stand good for time right now. He was trying to build his own bank, but he's always stopped on gas. And these ghosts are definitely struggling to keep up the momentum. These stores are left in the middle of nowhere, will be sniped down. Scarlett is gonna lose so much of her own army, but again, the Vespene gas I was talking about before is such a precious resource to time. And he definitely cannot spare it to rebuild those stores. So Taurs are gone forever from these, I think. And these ghosts will need to start clumping up much more value than they did so far. 5 more infestors incoming. And the burrow flanks can start to become a reality. Red Aspire is finished, and Aspire will start researching the melee, not the melee, sorry, the Carapace upgrades for those flyer units. Alright. You can see here time trying to get something done over this archery. So many snipes going on top of the ultras, it doesn't really feel like Scarlett can fight in that choke point. In the end, time will manage to kill this archery. Scarlett will let it go, but she's already saturating here on the left. While time is really failing to retake the bases he loses. He's retaking those two, but it's not looking that good for him. It's definitely looking like a death by 1,000 cuts. And Scarlett bleeding him left, bleeding him right. In the end, having a stronger army overall and trading even a little bit inefficiently, sorry. But still taking a lot of those key units out Units that time cannot replace and that she can definitely replace. As you can see, the Infestors getting those Fungals out and lowering the Ghost amount by quite a fair bit. This engagement was absolutely horrendous for Scarlett. But you know what? She doesn't care. 6k minerals, 5k gas. She's gonna make 122 lanes and a single Ultra. And she's gonna be pretty happy with it. The drones will not need to be transferred. 36 more Banelings incoming. And Banelings plus Infestor Fungals is still a very deadly combination. We're probably gonna see more Corruptors after the next exchange. And maybe some more, well, some first Broodlords. Once there are a little bit less ghosts out in the field, Scarlett will safely transition into Broodlords. For now, it's a little bit too risky. You can see Time trying to take control over here on the right side, and he will manage, but Scarlett will bite back even harder. So much of her own army stopping this Orbital Command from laying down eggs. Widow Mines will prove to be quite deadly. This Infestor is in a very deadly spot as well. Time needs to be extra careful. Here comes the army of Scarlett. Oh, it looks like this was a little bit too early. Scarlett might have needed to wait a little bit more to drop down a Fungal and maybe try to snipe all of those ghosts at once. In the end, Scarlett wastes a little bit of an opportunity, but will still trade down a couple more ghosts. The Time can't replace. 5k bank turned into Ultras. Well, 7 Ultras and she still has 5k bank. I worded that poorly. While Time is only making Marines and Marauders, he cannot replace his lost ghosts whatsoever. And now Scarlett has control of both the left side and the right side over here, retaking this archery over here and sending her queens in. The middle ground is also very important for Time to stop the army of Scarlett from moving around freely. These Banelings come into a little bit of a concave, will be definitely sniped down without managing to do too much. Now Snipes going on top of Queens. Ultra's going to be sent out over here in the middle, trying to catch as many of the Ghosts of Time lacking. And they will catch quite a lot, honestly. Scarlett is losing a huge amount of supply, a huge amount of gas, but killing so much. Again, look on the top left. 6 Ultras, 3 Infestors, Corruptors were made, meanwhile, and maybe turned into Broodlords, alongside Flyer Carapace too. What Time is doing? 2 Medivacs, 3 Marauders, and 12 Marines without being able to trade into anything. This archery would probably be killed, but at what cost? This army of Time over here being caught in the middle of nowhere and not even able to snipe down that archery. In the end, Scarlett, as I was saying, taking control of both the left side and the right side. Now this command center being a little bit too bold moving forward, honestly. Scarlett keeping most of her army over here. She knows Time is spending most of his resources to take control of this right side and wants to make sure he doesn't manage to get too much. Widow Mines walking forward to get on top of the Queens, and they will do, rightfully so. Banelings come clashing on top of some fungal bio. 4 more ghosts incoming. Finally, Time is able to replace some of his lost units, but his Ultras will not care too much about those Widow Mines. And even if they did, Scarlett is just sacking this base and ready to move on the left side to saturate this base on the left. 10 more Corruptors incoming. Broodlords are definitely a thing right now, or they're soon going to be, at least. And it's going to be tough because this location over here makes it so that this base that Time is desperately trying to take throughout the game is going to be so vulnerable to a Broodlord siege. Meanwhile, these Ultras still so numerous, ready to take some head-on engagement, and even if it doesn't really work Scarlett's way, Scarlett has still quite some resources, even after so many trade, even after 6 Broodlords and 10 Corruptors being made. Scarlett still has almost 2k gas. That is very significant. This base on the left is going to be sniped. Meanwhile, on the right side, Scarlett will retake actually control of this base over here. There's also an infestor being kept a little bit more forward over here, though. Time is definitely trying to bleed Scarlett out, losing most of her important bases actually. Base on the right, completing control of time right now, and here on the left side, Scarlett, what is she waiting for? The Windowman getting on top of the infestor, managing to kill one. The EMPs are going to be so important over here. The EMP gets on top of that infestor, but in the end a couple of ghosts will die anyway. 3 more ghosts incoming time, bleeding out even more. After being able to deal quite a blow to Scarlett, Scarlett still keeps it up, still manages to retake those 2 bases, and still has a very powerful army, and still manages to get some aggression going on. So many snipes going on both Corruptors and Ultras alike. The Broodlords will not manage to get a kill on top of the Ghosts. Overall time, a little bit pinned over here in the middle. But the Broodlords are left out a little bit too much, and 2 of them are gonna be snapped immediately, but the fungal! Oh, that was very good. Those fungal flanks are starting to look so clean out of Scarlett in the end. Though Scarlett takes a very short stick in this engagement, and she's gonna be needing to replace much of her lost army. She still has so much gas though. 48 more links, 16 more Corruptors. This is actually pretty much all of the gas that she has left. It's starting to look closer than it was a while ago. Not close enough, honestly. Scarlett still has an insanely powerful army. Could look for the ghosts incoming as well. Decent choice to make up for the lack of range on the Army of Time, so getting closer a little bit quicker. This base will not be sniped. And of course, trying to get those EMPs on top of the infestors, they will be trying to flank, so it's never to big avail. His run by will be denied. Over here, Time walking a little bit forward to try and catch some creep tumors. Does feel like Scarlett is preparing her own army over here on the right side, trying to collapse on top of everything. How many Banelings are with this army? They're gonna be so important. No Banelings? Huh. 36 more lanes incoming though. There's still a lot of gas for Scarlett. She will need Banelings. Oh, so many of them are being morphed right now to try and run down these ghosts. There's no meta mines with this. There's not a lot of Marauders to tank. The Vikings are out to deal with the Broodlords. It's gonna be extremely important. But even without infestors, now the Banelings can just come running through everything. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Trying to chase down these ghosts. The Ultras will take short work of whatever is left on the other side. And it looks like Scarlett just might have done it. Infestor Fungal Growth, the Corruptors winning the battle against the Vikings. The Broodlords still standing over here. And there's not a lot of ghosts with this army. The Ultras will make short work of both SCVs and the remaining bio. And Scarlett takes game number 1. And we're going on Berlingrad for our second set for this best of 3 here in the top left hand corner. Where the Red Zerg currently leading the series. He's spawning, playing for Shopify Rebellion. It's Scarlett. Their opponent in the blue instead from KZ Gaming. And it's 2 in a row. Can he start his redemption arc over here? It is time. Alright. You had quite interesting game number 1, and you know what? Berlingrad is not so different from Hardwire in the way you can easily defend on 4 maps. Get on the 4 bases, sorry. Get on the 5th one though, and it becomes slightly more complicated, to say the very least. It can still be super interesting to see how these 2 players will decide to approach the mid game. Because we've seen Time failing to put up the aggression he wanted to put. And Scarlett just snowballing for like 15 minutes, maybe even more. But if Time manages to get his aggression going, there won't be a lot of time for Scarlett to actually wait it out until the late game and just slowly starve his opponent to death like she did in the first game. It was an interesting way to start off the series, to say the very least. But it's not something I think they can keep up for the whole series. I do expect, especially the Terran, to stop this, since Scarlett looked extremely proficient in the late game, as always, with a lot of map control being established very early and kept for the long run. Okay, now she got Pool on one side and the Reaper expand on the other. We don't see the sneaky Ling trying to get a scout information at 3 minutes, like in the previous game. I do feel like Time probably will not be caught with his pants down again by a single slow Ling getting past his wall. But this Reaper is looking a dangerous line. But in the end, the Lings will be sent out. Yeah, this time, like, again, staying away from the word time when you're casting Time is absolutely impossible. This time, Time will be trying to look out for the Ling. Doesn't find it, doesn't send his Reaper out. He wants to keep close attention to the movements of Scarlett. And the Ling will be in position to get another scout. What's going to be this time, though? How many times did I say the word time? Wow, I did say it twice again in the same sentence. The Chinese player. Okay, is it better? I hope it is. It looks like it's just a lot of posturing right now. It's a Liberator opener on the starport. Yeah, the Ling this time will not make it through, will not get the scouting information he so freely got in the first set of this series. But it's not like it's something that requires to be hidden as much as a Banshee Cloak opener. It's just a Liberator. A very traditional unit by one of the most traditional TVZ player out there. The 4 Hellions and the Liberators. Something that we had in the meta for this matchup for the longest time. More than a year, actually. You can see, actually it's 6 Hellions. So it's a little bit more commitment, but in the end you're always going to have those 2 more Rex and a command center hitting up when you need them. Steam is halfway through. We had a little bit of a pause, as you can see. All good now. Then drones incoming for Scarlett, who's having her economical boom at the 5th minute mark. And that's exactly where the Zerg player is the most delicate in the game. So easy to be broken down once you go past that 50 workers mark. And so complicated to deal with once you get that production out of 3 bases going. So this is pretty much the perfect moment in which Time can get something good. Wait, what? This must be a mistake. Is it? Yeah, it is. Alright, alright. Neo Steel Armor is just... yeah, it's... let's say it's not as good as Infantry Armor +1. Alright, let's keep it at that. It's going to be complicated for Time to get past the defenses of Scarlett here on the right side. But he's not uber committing to anything, not until he has his key upgrades and his key unit composition. It's Widow Mines this time, not the tanks. I do like this a lot better. Especially since Scarlett is going heavy into Banelings pretty much from the get-go. And the Queens need to stay a little bit further away. The Liberator is making its way over here in this natural, will be greeted by this one Spore Crawler, but we'll still get a good Liberation Zone ongoing and still get a little bit of scouting formation over here at this Hydra Den. Lurker is probably the tech that Scarlett wants to get, but she needs to keep this base alive. That was a major blunder, losing 4 drones and an archery. Time finds the damage he was looking for with his multi-prong attack over here. The aliens will not gain anything. The Liberator will get 4 drones and this archery being killed and not cancelled. Scarlett is going to bleed quite a lot. Building speed almost completed again. 2 overloads going down pretty much immediately. Scarlett will be able to stop another major damage dealing blow. We're keeping the archery alive, but time is ready to move on the right side. And this is exactly what we expect on a very aggressive terrain. The Banelings, though, will manage to get a couple detonations before the Widowmine. He's able to get the shot. But time will still be able to save most of his army. This archery is going to be cancelled. Ooh. Time playing in the face of Scarlett right now. Again, overloads falling down left and right. Queens trying to do their best, but you can see the micro out of time right now with the Hellbat being able to burn down to crisp all of these lanes. So many Queens being in position over here to deal with the Marines, but the Widowmines are making it through, and lots of units are still surviving over here on the left side. 19 Hydras, actually. Scarlett wants to fight fire with fire, but I don't necessarily like this. She doesn't really have a lot of spare resources, and so many Widowmine shots are connecting to Queens and Hydras alike. They're better targets for those transfuses, but as you can see, they cannot really get on top of the Army of Time anytime soon. There's no Overseer over here. This might be a little bit of a disaster. Here comes the Overseer to the rescue. There's still 2 more Widowmines though. Oof. I don't think they're gonna kill a Queen, but it'll be very close. Maybe they will if targeted well enough. And yes, they will be good targets. And kill a Queen. On the left side, more quick is going to be killed. Scarlett bleeding so much. Time completely in control of this game. He's ready to steam again and kill yet another hatchery. I don't see a lot in the way of defense over here. Not even a cancel, a straight up kill. Alongside 4 more drones. This Marine platoon is definitely going ham on the economy of Scarlett to 12 drones falling down. A Baneling connection gets rid of most of them before the Medivac can collect the others. But still, Scarlett is not able to produce a lot of army. She's getting a hive. That's I don't know about that. Lurker then makes it easier to defend, I guess. But now this double expansion is pretty much mandatory, and time is getting +2/+2, saving up units for a big push. And I don't really see Scarlett holding against this. I think we might see a GG very soon. Crit spread is not even that great. The changelings are very good to see what is up, but I do feel like after seeing this, Scarlett is even more afraid than she was before. Her units are in position, but there's not a lot of them. At all. Yeah, this feels like a huge GG timing. Scarlett losing all of her Banelings. Well, most of her Banelings. Most of her Hydras as well. The Queens are not in position. The Transfuse is going on top of the Hydras, but this is just not going to cut it. GG gets goal. Time ties up the score. We have 2000 atmospheres for the 3rd and last set of this best of 3. It's do or die over here in the top right hand corner. The red Zerg is currently spawning from Shopify Rebellion. It is Scarlett. Switching down the momentum completely. It's their opponent from Kaizi Gaming, hailing from China, the Blue Terran. Time. After a very long game number 1, we had a fairly short game number 2, in which aggression was king. And time relentlessly was in the face of Scarlett for like 5 minutes. As I was saying actually during the first game, that's the best iteration possible of time. Once he gets a little bit of damage somewhere, it just snowballs with a reckless and relentless aggression. And yet Scarlett didn't have quite enough, didn't move fast enough to keep up with their opponent's aggro. And now we're in this game number 3 with a little bit of a pattern in this series. Long game, Scarlett dominates. Short game, time dominates. So it's all about that early timing attack and how much damage time can deal. How much can Scarlett save instead? And we're probably gonna have the answer of the whole series right in that moment. 5th minute mark, 6th minute mark, 7th minute mark. Those are going to be the turning points of the whole series. Reaper being sent out after, again, another standard opener on both sides. Reaper expand, Ashka's pool. I see a third base coming shortly out of Scarlett as well. It's going to be nothing crazy. It's more about the first, not even piece of tech, like I would say, for example, about a Protoss player. It's more about just the what is going to come out of that starport at this stage. Ooh, this is an early second command center. I'm taking a page out of the Book of Beyond and going for the fast third command center. There's multiple follow-ups here. You can go for the 1-1-1 and try to be aggressive with just slightly less amount of units. Or you can go for the triple Rex instead and try to play much more aggressive, knowing that those Marines are highly replaceable for you and the Medivacs are definitely not. Of course, with the Tech Lab next to these Rex, we're gonna see a very standard timing for the Steam upgrade. And we're probably gonna see Drops and Hellions being sent, one on the left and one on the right. To the Atmospheres, not as easy to get multi-prong attacks as Berlingrad. But in the end, most of the same things stand true. It is a Banshee instead. I was completely forgetting about this other option, especially with this build, which makes up for the lack of numbers in your army with a couple strong units such as Banshees to try and keep up aggression with a little bit less commitment in just APM overall, with less units being used and less reinforcements being sent out, of course, while keeping a higher focus on macro. It's the one Banshee instead of the two, with probably 2 more Rex being added next to this Tech Lab, one to get combo shields and one other to get a reactor and start producing more, as you can see, and more Marines. It's instead just the first few tanks, which is also a very good choice. Double ANG Bay, Larian coming for Scarlett, with the Baneling Nest being added as well to get those Baneling a little bit faster. They're trying to get the defense line going against these aliens, but of course Time wants to get something done in the face of his opponent. This piece on the right, not going to be easy to get anything going on top of it. Lots of crit tumors being spread around to gain a good amount of vision. The drones will be saved by the Evo chamber block. In the end, 1 drones will still fall down. The Lings are trying to get us around, trying to kill as many aliens as possible. They do kill quite a bunch. Almost managing to clean up, actually fully managing to clean up the full supply. The Banshee will fly out of the main base after getting nothing aside from a little bit of scouting information. The Spire is ongoing yet again. Scarlett resetting to her game number 1 strategy. The Ling at 4th base by quite a while to get the pieces of her tech down a little bit earlier. And again, no Widowmines, it's tanks. So time is gonna be slightly slower, since he's gonna be relying on the tank number, the tank count to stay high enough to keep up pressure even against mutas. And with Banshees in the air and tanks on the ground, those mutas are gonna have a much easier time getting stuff done altogether. Crit spread is looking very good for Scarlett, actually double expanding right now, feeling confident about her map control, or at least the map control she's about to have once the Spire completes. It's gonna be a matter of seconds. Timing is going to set up this timing attack just when it hurts the most, yet again. Again, such a delicate moment. Centrifugal looks about to finish, time just a little bit too late with this. So many queens in position, so much quick spread as well. And just a couple Medivacs worth of Marines over here trying to slow down Scarlett. So actually trying to go for a little bit of a counter, will not find a way in over here. But something just suiciding before getting on top of one of the tanks. I was talking about tank count before, and lowering it with such low effort is always going to be so valuable. The Banshee goes down as well. Another valuable piece of the puzzle going down for time, who's much less agency right now to deal damage on the map. Only 1 SCV will fall, but I feel like Scarlett is plenty happy about this little exchange she got going for her. Her upgrades are a little bit slower compared to game number 1, but timing is pinned again. And it's now up to him to do one of 2 things. Either commit fully to the +2/+2 timing on the ground with just tanks and marines and try to multi-prong around, dodging the mutas with the medivacs and dealing as much damage as possible, or slow it down, get those stores out, get some Widowmines out, and play to the late game. It looks like the medivacs are actually being sent out for the mutas, trying to chase them down before they get +1 flyer attack. Scarlett wants to get something done on the map as well. Lots of units on the low ground for time, who's gonna lose quite a bit of those marines and the tank to the Banelings. The mutas though are not the best to fight this army head-on, and there's not a lot of Banelings on the ground for Scarlett. Fighting off creep might have costed her a little bit too much. Time decides against slowing the game down to get Thors, and is sending his full might out. That's a very powerful army out right now. Make no mistake, Scarlett needs to sack this base while trying to deal some damage out with her mutas. +1 flyer attack almost completed. She still cannot fire those missile turrets head on. And she's going to bleed quite a lot back home. The double expand really working in her favor, but now the Banelings are in the mix. Maybe she can try and find a way to fight head on. This is creep territory though, and it's starting to look a little bit complicated for time. The scan is so useful to kill down as many creep tumors as possible, but he needs to stay close to his tanks and decides to maneuver them back for the time being. +3 infantry weapons incoming. Infantry armor +3 will soon be following as well. Another tank goes down without time being able to do much about it. But time is still in a very good spot right now. His aggression really paying in full. Oh yeah, and you don't want to roll your Banelings down in that choke point. Time Finds another way to strike in over here. Banelings run by. Will it get anything going? No, it won't. These are no +2 Banelings. They will not one-shot the SCVs. And over here, Scarlett finds herself sacking yet another base. Remember game number 1? Remember the 2k gas in the bank at the 11 freedom mark. Remember the hive. Then forget it immediately. Yes, 19 SCVs are falling over here. But Time is an insanely powerful army. He's just marching forward and forward, sending more and more reinforcements through and getting attacks done in so many different key locations. These tanks absolutely annihilating the Banelings. Banelings trying to get into a good spot, but Time just playing it carefully, just waiting for the right moment, just maneuvering around these tanks. And Scarlett will be forced to actually move her drones in such a scary position. Another link run by being sent out. There's not much to kill over here though. And most of the reinforcements of Time are in position to deal with the run by anyway. 2 hatcheries, 2 more hatcheries actually going down. Scarlett building up to a bank yet again, but she doesn't manage to get on top of the tanks this time. There's so many Banelings in this army. But it does feel like Time is just marching forward and forward, getting yet another siege up position. He's getting control of these rally point. 2 tanks march a little bit too forward. So many Banelings dying at once. Is it the godlike connections that Scarlett wanted? No, it's not. A concave of Marines is going to end her dream right here, right now. Marines marching forward. Oh, beautiful connections over here. But the Midas just cannot fight it on. +2/+2 complete just now for Scarlett. Too little, too late. Time gets the series.